When Arsenal signed Kai Havertz for £65 million last summer, a lot of people, a lot of Arsenal fans were kind of skeptical about the transfer, and rightfully so. To be fair, I was kind of one of them. I didn't really know how it would work. I immediately thought that, well, Kai Havertz would kind of come in and play the Granit Xhaka role. And even though I made a couple videos when he was doing badly, that I still thought he could do really well for Arsenal, and I mentioned how I think what he brings to the table is going to outweigh the cons. But if you had told me, fast forward 1 year, he is arguably one of the best strikers in Europe right now, at least numbers wise, and he is a huge reason why Arsenal aren't craving a lethal number 9 right now. If you had told me that, I wouldn't believe you at all. But I mean, here we are. So what did Kai Havertz do, and what is Kai Havertz doing specifically this season that is taking his level even further than what we saw last season? Well, that's what we'll be talking about today. So what's going on, everyone? You are listening to Gunner Central here. I hope you're all doing well. Please be sure to like the video, subscribe if you guys haven't already, and let's get into it. Now, like I said, when Kai Havertz was brought in for £65 million by Arsenal, it was a kind of a skeptical move, because it's like, well, we've just spent £100 million on Declan Rice, and also Chelsea get to make a £5 million profit on Kai Havertz. And outside of the Champions League final goal, Kai Havertz didn't really have any big moments for Chelsea. So what are Arsenal thinking paying that much? And I even said that in the video where I praised Kai Havertz, and I said I believe he could be a good signing. I think this was maybe 3 months after we signed Kai Havertz. I still said I think the price was hefty, and it really was at the time. It was a huge risk to take, and it was kind of a test for Mikel Arteta to see what coaching he could actually provide to some players. And Kai Havertz, with his slow starts and his high price, didn't really help his case. He looked really bad at times trying to play the Granit Xhaka role, a role that I think we all know now doesn't actually suit him, but maybe that's what Arteta thought when he bought him. But he looked really bad, and he would go 3 or 4 games without even noticing him do anything of note. You would have to watch Kai Havertz, and only him and not the game in general, to notice what Kai Havertz was doing, because it wasn't really influential. He wasn't getting assists or goals, and he wasn't doing anything, especially in the final third, that we saw Granit Xhaka do. So you're kind of thinking to yourself like, well, when is it going to click for Kai Havertz, if ever? I think the main turning point whenever I think about the Kai Havertz turnaround was the goal against Brentford. I think when he came on and scored the last minute winner, it kind of gave him the confidence to say, you know what, this is my team now, and I can lead this team, especially up front. Gabby Jesus wasn't having a great beginning of the season. Nketiah, while he was Nketiah, he wasn't really great. So we did need a striker, and well, Kai Havertz started to fill up that role. And towards the end of last season, he was on an absolute tear. He finished off the season last season with just 14 goals and 7 assists in 51 games. By no means does that sound awesome. When you look at his numbers, he only played 18 games as our striker. And in those 18 games as Arsenal striker, well, he got 8 goals and 7 assists, showing that he was meant to be Arsenal's striker. In the last 5 games of the season, he got himself 3 goals and 2 assists, including a brace against Chelsea and a goal and an assist in a 3-2 win against Spurs. There's no doubt that Kai Havertz had a rough start to the season, but I think the moment that Kai Havertz was actually put as our sole number 9, as our striker, well, that's when it all finally clicked for Kai Havertz. But here's the crazy part. I think we all know about this, that Kai Havertz had a really good turnaround, but how did Kai Havertz get better this season, and why do I even say he's gotten better? Well, I mean, statistically, it's clear as day that he got better. I mean, already in 7 games in the Premier League, he has 4 goals, 1 assist. He already has a goal in the Champions League. He had a goal in the FL Cup. In his first 10 games this season for Arsenal, he scored 6 goals with 1 assist, compared to his first 10 games last season where he got 1 goal and 1 assist. So there's a clear step up from last season to this season for Kai Havertz, right? But what exactly has made him so good? Well, I think finally now, this season, Arteta has decided, you know what, Havertz won't play attacking midfield anymore. Even when there's no Odegaard, he will stay as our sole number 9. If that means Trossard drops into midfield, then so be it. If that means we have to play 2 CDMs in our 3-man midfield, then so be it. Kai Havertz is a striker, and he will remain a striker for Arsenal. And thankfully, that is how Arteta is thinking. Kai Havertz, of course, 6 goals in 10 games. Any striker outside of maybe Erling Haaland, those are really good numbers for them. And maybe everyone's vision is skewed by the likes of Erling Haaland, thinking that in 10 games, if you're an elite striker, you have to have 10 goals. But 6 goals and 1 assist in 10 games is a high level, if borderline world-class striker numbers. It just is. But the thing is, outside of his goal scoring, where he constantly overperforms his XG, outside of that, you look at the underlying numbers, and well, Kai Havertz is proven game in and game out why he is such a special player. player. If you look at his numbers against forwards, defensively he is far better than all the forwards. In terms of on the ball, he is far better than all the forwards. And even attacking wise, he's not amazing against other number 9s, but that's because other number 9s don't have to do the defense work and on the ball work that Kai Havertz has to do. You look at his overall numbers against strikers and you see how well balanced Kai Havertz is. And when you compare him to midfielders, well, again, there he is still looking elite. Of course, attacking wise, he is far better than most midfielders in the world, but on the board, he still holds up with progressive passes received, touches in the attack and penalty area, progressive carries, aerial duels won. He is still better than most midfielders overall in most aspects. So you combine that with how good he is as a forward, and you just see that Kai Havertz is just such a well-balanced, hard-working player that you can't replicate by getting someone like Viktor Gyökeres. Like I said in previous videos, of course it'd be fun to have Viktor Gyökeres score 30 goals in the Premier League, but what Kai Havertz brings is invaluable to us as a striker. He's finally putting goals behind his name now as well since the beginning of this year, but outside of that, the stuff he does off the ball, the hard work, running for every single loose ball, being scrappy, relentless work rate, winning as many aerial duels as possible, still being a good player on the ball when making progressive passes. I just don't see why there's a huge cry for a striker right now for Arsenal. There is interest in Benjamin Šeško, but I think that's more about Gabby Jesus underperforming than it is about Kai Havertz underperforming. Kai Havertz this season has been spectacular, but with each passing game, each passing performance, Kai Havertz is becoming a better player than the game before, and he's becoming even more vital. He's getting to the point where he's one of our most crucial players, and an injury to him, touch wood that doesn't happen, but a crucial injury to him would impact us negatively in the long run. Kai Havertz is such an instrumental part to the way that Arteta plays, and if we do get someone like Benjamin Šeško, I'm pretty convinced that for the most part, at least in the beginning, Šeško will be the backup for Kai Havertz. Arsenal don't need a striker. This was something I said before the season started, and I'm usually wrong with a lot of predictions, I will say that, but this one, I told you so. Kai Havertz is special, and I love every minute of him playing for Arsenal.